What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Josh, and I'm here back with another haircut tutorial. And in this video, we're going to be giving my guy a mid fade. So let's hop right into this video. So the first thing that you want to do when starting off on your haircut is to comb, brush, or pick out the hair thoroughly, get all the hair stretched out, and get it ready to get cut down. So the first thing I'm going to do in this haircut is take his hair down. We have a number 2 guard on, and we're going to be cutting his hair down to a number 2 all the way around. With his texture of hair, I probably would have cut it shorter if it was like a different texture, but with his texture, he needs his hair longer to have waves, so I cut it to a number 2, and that's going to be the height for this haircut. So right here we're going to be removing some bulk in this fade. His hair has grown a lot, so it's kind of like overly grown on the side. So right here I went up with my number 2 guard with the clipper all the way closed, going against the grain and just stopping at the top of the head, kind of like around the occipital bone, around the area that we're going to stop our fade at. We're just clearing out the area, getting all this bulk out the way so we can better see our canvas for our fade. So our first step in this fade is to start our bald line, and I'm going to go in with my trimmers to start my bald line. And keep in mind that we are giving him a mid fade, so I'm going to kind of drop it in the back. This is not a drop fade, but this slight drop is just going to leave it dark enough for me to have some extra blending room so I can leave it darker. I don't want it to be too high of a fade. So right here we're just cleaning up all the extra hair that we do not need for the fade, hair that's irrelevant. This is just the start of our fade, so we have to make sure that we get very detailed and get every little hair. And also right here, as you guys see how I'm hitting under that line, I'm hitting under this line because I'm softening up the guideline. And as you see, I have the clippers flipped the opposite way of the way I had used them when I set it in. This is a way of softening up the line, so when I come back to take it out after I create my next guideline, it's going to be an easier, much smoother process. So right after setting in my first guideline, I like to go in with my clipper with the lever all the way open with no guard on and set my next guideline, going up about a ½ inch, following this guideline, following the shape of it all the way around the head. So wherever it curves at, that's where I curve, and wherever it dips at, that's where I dip. I'm keeping it solely parallel so our fade can be much more balanced at the end. So right here I'm working on taking the guideline out. I have the clippers halfway closed, starting under the line, flicking up towards the line. Obviously I don't keep the clipper halfway closed throughout this whole process. I kind of open and close and play with my lever a little bit because some areas might not fade the same, so you have to kind of play with your lever and get more comfortable with that. So right after setting in that guideline, I'm going to go in with my number 1 guard with the lever all the way open, going up about another ½ inch, staying parallel to that guideline that we previously created all the way up in this fade. Now right after this process, I'm going to go in and do my fade and down process, which we will fade down instead of fading up as far as walking up. In our guards, we're going to go from the bigger guard. We're going to walk from the bigger guard down. So right after setting in that guideline, I'm going to drop down to my number 1 guard closed. So basically I have the same lever on. Now I have the same guard on. Now I just close the lever all the way. And I'm just going to start under the line and flick up to the line, fading out this line. And right after that, I'm going to come back with my half guard, as you guys can see. And I'm going to start under the line and flick up towards the line. That is my fade and down process just for this section. As you guys can see, we got that line out. It's looking good. So right here I'm going in with my number 3 guard. If you guys remember, in the beginning of this haircut, I started with my number 2 guard for the debulking, but that wasn't going to be the biggest guard that I use in this fade. Right here I'm starting my fade down process, starting with my number 3 guard, just fading it into the top of the head. After going in with my number 3 guard, we're going to drop down to my number 2 guard with the lever all the way open. we're working from longer to shorter right here at this point in my fading down process. That's basically what it is, fading from longer to shorter. And I have my number 2 guard on with the lever all the way open, and then I'm going to go in with my lever all the way closed. So after coming with the number 2 guard all the way closed, I'm going to drop down to my number 1.5 guard all the way open and just flick at that line that we're taking out. We want to make that line completely disappear. So I'm going to start with my number 1.5 guard open, and then I'm going to close it. Every time we drop down in the guard and the fade, we're going to drop down and how high we go up. So as you guys see, I have my number 2 guard on again. This part right here is just going to be some detail work, and I'm just going to go through the whole system all over again, but basically just start over and just hit the dark areas that I think that need to be faded. But when I say we're gonna drop down and how high we go up in a fade, so when I'm doing my fading down process, if I drop down in guards, I'm gonna stop going as high. So if I have a shorter guard on, I'm not gonna go in the area that I used the bigger guard on, because it's gonna make that area shorter, and that's not the whole purpose. We want to make sure that we get in each zone in their own corrective length. So right here, we're going to get ready for our lineup process. Right here, I'm just cutting the hair down shorter with a number 1 guard on with the lever all the way open, going with the grain. Sometimes the hairline tends to poof up in the front, so I like to run through it with a shorter guard to lay it down. And then right after that, I hit it with some holding spray, and then I lock it down by blow drying it with some cool air and making sure that I get it all laid down. So we're going to let the hairline rest for a while. We're going to work on his beard. He wanted it cut down. He wanted all this gone. This was just over the quarantine where he had been growing his beard out. He hasn't had a haircut, so he just kind of let it grow out. So right now I'm cutting his hair down to a number 3 guard going against the grain, and we're just cutting the whole beard this height. Later in the video, I'm going to go in with the number 2 guard because he wanted it a little bit shorter. So at the end, like towards the end of the haircut, I kind of cut it a little bit shorter to the height that he wanted it. And right here, I'm just going to be blending the beard into the fade. Basically, when I do my beards, I basically start from the no guard open and then get that line out. And then I walk down from the biggest guard that I use all the way back to that point. So basically, I started with my number 2 guard, then I went to my 1.5, then the 1, then the half guard, boom. And now I'm on the other side. I do the same thing to this side. So right here, we're going to start our lineup process. We're going to be giving him a natural lineup. We're not going to be adding any enhancements on this haircut. All natural and razor work. So I'm just going to let you guys sit back and watch this lineup process come to life. We're going to be doing his hairline, and we're going to be shaping up his beard and his mustache, getting all the extra hair out the way that he doesn't need that's been growing so long. So before we line the beard up, this is right here when he decided to cut it down to a number 2 guard. So right after we get done cutting it down, we're gonna go in to line up his beard and get it looking right. We're not quite done with our line work. We still have some more details to do. But right here, I'm going to show you like a little bit more detail work that I did on the fade, which is clipper over comb, getting some of that thick area at the top of his head, right there around the crown area, you know, at the top of our fade that we wanted to get right. And right here, I'm going in with my shavers, just balding out all the areas that has stubble. We want this fade to look as best as we can, so we're going to clean out some hairs and get it all the way to the skin. And right here, as you guys see, the ultimate finisher, that unmatched razor, bringing those lines to life. Look at this. We're going to make this thing super crispy as we can. If you stay and watch to this part of the video, you seen me transform this guy to a whole new person. He looks different. You can't even lie to me. Just check out this before. Like, my man, he needed it. His hair was growing super long. But without further ado, I want to show you guys what we did, the magic that I created. YouTube, this is the cut. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment on this video. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Joshxbarber. Make sure you guys check out some more dope videos by me. It's your boy Josh, and I'm out.